This bulletin is coming to you live from Joy 99.7 FM here. Our digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. Affiliates across the country, including A1 Radio in Bolgatanga and Kekeli Radio in Ho. It's on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, DigiBank, Let's Go, and Teleso 4G. Just a touch. In this edition, Observer Group Codeo calls on the Electoral Commission to be more transparent about new voters registered to avoid suspicion. As it emerges, the EC will begin registration from April.
The technical reasons for which we need to overhaul the whole biometric voter management systems of the Electoral Commission. These are facts that must be put together, and then the verification of those facts.
Meanwhile, NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman describes inter-party demonstration held in Kumasi yesterday as a flop, as he calls for EC's mandate to be respected.
Demonstration, actually, was something. I know I'm not Hubem, and I'm not and who share political parties 6 hours from Cabo Munua. I know demonstration, I'm way over 100,000 cry.
As Joy News launches road safety campaign, Arrive Alive, we hear the chilling story of Deputy Communications Minister George Anda, who survived a bloody accident that nearly claimed his life.
I remember I was in the back of an abubuya. My head was on the lap of my bodyguard, and I asked him what was going on. I was feeling some very severe pain in my leg, and he said we were involved in an accident.
We'll hear from him as he commits to support the campaign aimed at reducing road accidents in Ghana.
You have all my support. I mean, I'm fully on board this campaign.
Also later, government steps up surveillance at the Kotoka International Airport following the outbreak of the human coronavirus in China, which has so far killed 9 people. In sports,
Black Stars coach CK Akono has laid down the marker. Only hard work will get the Black Stars to Qatar 2022.
And later, Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists of Ghana refutes claims that any form of intrauterine devices causes cervical cancer, saying there's no scientific evidence to support the assertion.
If we're able to control that high-risk sexual behavior, we will make some gain. And so chiefly, that virus is transmitted sexually.
And that's all coming up here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Please stay for details. And there is increasing pressure on the Electoral Commission to provide details of a report by its technical advisors on the need to compile a new voters register. Even as it emerges, the Commission will begin registration from April this year. Many political parties, including the NDC and PNC, as well as civil society organizations, have opposed the EC's decision, citing cost and poor timing. Acting Chairman of Election Observer Group Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, Codeo, Sheikh Arimiyao Shaibu, is concerned about the rising political temperature of the country following divided opinions on the register. He wants the EC to be more transparent in its dealings to avoid suspicion.
We do not have enough time, and so even if the EC had to go ahead with the compilation of the voters register, those concerns that have been raised must be looked into. Facts about issues of value for money that have been raised can be put on the table, and then also the issue of the suspicion, mutual suspicion between the two major political parties has been the one that has been the critical issue that has brought us to where we are at the moment, and so therefore there's a need for us to really do something about it and to reduce the suspicion and to inject more confidence in the system, so that going forward, come December 7, 2020, we should be able to have a very credible system, which as an election observation body, our interest more lies in what gives or lends more integrity and credibility to the system. And so anything that in our view will add to the integrity and the credibility of the system is something that we must go in for. But that it must also be done in consultative framework.
Now, Busa South MP Clement Park agrees. He says the Commission has not been transparent on plans for a new voters register. Mr. Park spoke earlier on the AM show on the Joy News channel.
Okay. You know, broaden the scope of consultation. Yeah. Let stakeholders also come here you present contrary evidence if they have any, so that we can move on. But when you just decide, that because the law is on your side, because the Constitution gives you your independence, you are going and as Bukum Banku says, what can come can come. I mean, of course, this is not going to augur well. But there was an earlier issue that you raised, which got me thinking. You talked about the EC having the penchant, rightly so, to accept its independence. Nobody is arguing with that. As now, some of this commentary is beginning to become public, whether it is true or just a psychological way of getting us to believe that they are far advanced. But even if they are far advanced, why must this have happened on the blind side of major stakeholders? These are the issues we are raising. And when you do that, it gives us reason, as the Sheikh rightly said, to be suspicious. Because if you are not making us aware of what you are doing every step of the way and giving us the needed information so that we can also follow and verify that what indeed you say you are doing is what you are doing.
That's MP for Busa South Clement Park. We've been joined on the phone, thankfully, by the coordinator of Codeo, Mr. Albert Ahin. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News. Now, do you share the concerns about the lack of transparency by the EC, which may be fueling this opposition to the new voters register?
Well, I would say that, to some extent, I would say the EC has been quite transparent, and for another reason, I would say that sometimes the EC has not been forthcoming with certain information. I was at an APAC meeting some time back, and this issue about the voters register was raised. Apparently, there had been some meetings before I joined that one, and there were issues about costs and other things. And it appeared to me at that time that, for example, the EC had not forwarded to the other parties the element of costs with regards to the new and the old that they were trying to either update or acquire. You see, so the consensus in the room was that each time the EC wants to do a thing like that, it would be better to, update the meeting, and that is the IPAC. So this has been what has been going on for some time now. But Codeo is saying that forget about all that has even happened. It is now time, because there have been the various concerns raised, concerns from the political parties, concerns from the CSOs, and it's all about the fact that the EC is trying to acquire new infrastructure, that is a new IT equipment. And I believe, and I think Codeo believes even better here, that now you can easily get the cost of these items, even on the internet. So we are appealing to the EC, if it hadn't done so, to provide all these parties at the time that the meeting that we are recommending takes off, so they can have a grasp of what they are actually talking about. The cost element, because you can Google and get these prices everywhere. You see, so the element of transparency, the whole issue of the EC is on transparency, accountability, and all that. And this we should not we feel shy in pointing out to them. So if they have not done anything like that, this is the time for them to come forward with documents, with proof of what they intend doing. And I think they have, in some days ago, tried to tell the Ghanaian public what the whole budget is about. For example, they have said that in acquiring the new one, it is going to be cheaper than updating the old one. This is an information which should have come long ago, with figures backing it. You see, but what Codeo is saying is that all is not it. The stakeholders should be immediately brought to the table, as recommended by the that is advising the EC. We support that view. Let the CSOs also be there, and let us sit down and talk.
Okay.
Codeo is for a credible voters register. But let us also remind ourselves that the mandate of the EC, and for that matter, the constitutional mandate of the EC, should be taken on board when these discussions are taking place. The EC itself should also be mindful of the fact that, yes, there are laws governing these activities, but they are dealing with human beings. They cannot operate in a vacuum. You see, so that sometimes, because of governance, it's a governance institution. So we need to sit down and talk to people, agree on certain issues, and sometimes can even disagree. And
well, that brings me, Mr. Ahin, to the public posturing of the EC, for instance. At a time that the Eminent Advisory Committee, for instance, had told them to consult further, the EC came out to say that everything they've decided is already a done deal. Going forward, what should the public posturing of the Electoral Commission be?
What should happen is that, by all means, there should be that meeting. Okay? There should be that meeting. That meeting should be in such a way that the EC will put final touches to whatever they want to tell the people. This is the cost. This is what we want to do. This is the benefit. You know, these things will all be laid on the table. For example, yesterday, I learned that there was this issue of the ID card of all people who have previously registered to be sent to the registration center, where the old data on it will be seriously relied upon. They are not going to throw it away. All that the EC was going to do was to take the picture, because they are now relying on the facial recognition thing they want to do, which to them is going to enhance what has not been, been done before. You see, this information, for example, has not come forward previously. And this is to also tell us that probably when we even get to the center, we might not even spend time there.
Okay. But Mr. Ahin, finally, just before I let you off briefly though, so the position of CODEO is that we need a new voters register, is that it?
We are not saying that. We haven't said anything like that.
You support the EC's move for a new voters register, knowing what you know.
Excuse me. When the EC meets the people, there should be a consensus building. Decisions should be taken, but, and this is a advice, we have said seriously there that the mandate of the EC to conduct elections, they have the sole mandate. This should be the prime objective of the meeting.
Well, Mr. Ahin, we'll leave it here. We're grateful for your time. That's the coordinator of CODEO, Mr. Albert Ahin. Now, the Electoral Commission is courting the collaboration of stakeholders in the electoral process to ensure a peaceful and violence-free vote in December. The Commission believes key roles by these unidentifiable groups will ensure the process is free and fair, in line with the Sustainable Development Goal 16, which aims, among others, to reduce violence and promote peace around the world. An acting director of the Commission, Alexander Poku Akubia, told the stakeholder forum in Accra, the media, security agencies, rights groups and the like must step up to the plate and play their roles. He's also been urging political parties to conduct clean campaigns and disband vigilante groups as the 2020 election approaches.
I think just last week we had a meeting and a communique was issued. Besides, the electoral body should be fair in their convictions and in their actions, and be guided by the supreme interest of the country. It's also important that our security agencies also rise up to the occasion. The armed forces, the national security, the Bureau of National Security, the BNI, the Bureau of National Intelligence, all of them should rise up to the occasion. When, for example, somebody is arrested, like it has happened in the past before, and there is no clear justification for the arrest, it creates perception in the mind of people. And I think it is important going forward into the 2020 elections, our security agencies, led by the police, should be guided by this, that we have to build trust. We have to do all that we can to remove the perception of mistrust that people have. Some of us believe that it's just a perception, but we need to work at it so that we can assure all the participating candidates and the people of Ghana that our security agencies are fair.
Alexander Poku Okobia is an acting director at the Electoral Commission. Now we head to the Ashanti region because the NPP chairman there, Bernard Enchiboisiako, popularly known as Chairman Wuntumi, wants pressure groups and political parties to allow the Electoral Commission enjoy its independence in the exercising of its constitutional mandate. He's been speaking at a news conference organized by the Let My Vote Count Alliance on the new voters register today in Kumasi, from where my colleague Nanaya Ojima joins us with details. So what more has the Chairman Wuntumi been saying?
Someone went to me after he spoke, addressed the media. David Asante, who is leader of Let My Vote Count Alliance, took over, and he believes that it is long overdue for the EC to compile a new voter register. And they started a fight for a new register in 2015, where EC refused to listen to their plea. And even though the Supreme Court ordered the EC to do a cleansing of that register, they believe that it wasn't well done. So having a new register is proper for the upcoming 2020 elections.
About 8 o'clock, no mukra, nipa bear 250. About bear 8:30, almost as yes, so move, no mukra bear 350. And to Omukoya, Mubabedura Santa Mino. Now a fee, Omuba Omukra, and nipa bear 700. And to share political party 6, our Musomukabo Munua, and no demonstration, and we are 100,000 cry. Now, so Abraham almost as the Akasano. No more reports the stations in Libya, any Asante region, now say any Kumasino. So you nipa 10,000, you nipa 20,000, and you do all more year. Now who can throw the actual one?
And now tell me briefly what you've been saying.
So, Mr. Enchiboisiako believes that the NDC yesterday's demonstration against this new voter register was a flop, because he believes that the 20,000 that was targeted wasn't met, and he says he could count less than 700 people show up at the demonstration, meaning a lot of people are not in support, are in support of the new voter register, and so the people who are against it should join the others. Let's get a new voter register and go into the election with a credible voter register.
So that's my colleague Nanaya Ojima reporting from the Ashanti region, and you heard the Let My Vote Count Alliance holding that press conference supporting the EC's move to compile a new voters register. Let's talk about security now, because starting today, 22nd January 2020, Ghanaian security agencies can collaborate more efficiently to protect the country's points of entry. A new border security fusion center has been set up to allow Ghana Police Service, the Immigration Service, and BNI and others involved in air, land, and maritime security to properly coordinate their border security efforts. Head of Security Desk here at Joy News, Gifty Ando Apia, was there for us and joins us in the studio. So with this fusion center, what can we do now that we could not do previously, Gifty?
So Emefa, previously the state security agencies worked independently. For example, if the BNI picked up information in Tripoli, they will have to go through their own separate protocol, the BNI protocols, of sending information across. But with this, they will be talking amongst each other. Security agencies will be talking among each other. So if there is an action that has to be taken in Tripoli before they go through the processes by police or by the army, then they can pick it up. Otherwise, what pertains now is that all these agencies work individually and they have their own protocols. But now they're merging them. Some of them are coming together to be able to talk to each other in one room and get action quickly on security. So
the United States of America is a key partner in the creation of the border security. What have they been saying?
Well, I'll tell you what the United States of America is saying. They're saying that they've put in a huge amount of money, Emefa. But before that, we can hear the defense minister who was there today to commission this new fusion center.
A fusion center, as the word suggests, you will know, is to bring together all the various agencies. We have about 8 to 9 agencies under which this fusion center will serve. So BNI, research, defense intelligence, the police, the immigration, customs division of the GRA. They are supposed to all come together in a room to ensure that when something happens in any part of the border, they are able to pick it up, relay it for a quick decision to be made. Because you don't want a situation whereby the BNI picks up something the police are supposed to do immediately, and then it's difficult to relay information. So that gap between getting the information and taking action will be shortened, and they are expected to work 24/7. So basically, it speed up the response time, and the more you get intelligence and act very fast, the better for you. Because if you were to wait for a terrorist act to happen, then you are failed. You know?
What is in this office that will facilitate this coordination?
It's a start. They should be able to communicate around the country by what they have. They have cameras, they have the screens that they can see and monitor, they have all the monitors, they have the gadgets that they are able to see and do whatever is going on. So it's also a good thing, because at the end of the day, it sends positive signals to the people of.
So Defense Minister there, Dominic Nitiwo. So this is a U.S.-Ghana collaboration?
Yes, it is. It's called the Security Governance Initiative. It is something that's done across other African countries, especially in Kenya. So what Ghana is doing is that we're learning from the Kenyan experience to protect our borders. Essentially, the U.S. has committed $35 million in terms of training and logistics, and we'll bring more in our subsequent bulletins.
Thank you very much, Gifty Andopia. She's head of our security desk here at Joy News. Let's stay a while longer on security, because a policeman has been shot dead at Mankasim, and the Inspector General of Police is on his way there. My colleague Richard Kojonyako joins us with details. What more can you tell us, Richard?
Well, so the police patrol team at Mankasim said they had a distress call that there was an armed robbery incident at one of the filling stations, precisely the Zen filling station, and so they moved there. When the armed robbers saw that the police had come, they engaged them in a fierce gun battle, and so later on the robbers, we are told, retreated, only for them to hear some more gunshots near the filling station when the action took place. The police rushed there, and then they saw the lifeless body of a police constable from the Mankasim divisional area. We are told that the police was not in uniform, was in mufti, and so investigations are still ongoing to ascertain what the policeman was doing at that particular point in time.
Richard Kojo Nyako, there's a Central Regional correspondent, definitely has been busy the past week, and this one as well. We'll take a quick break here on the Midday News. When we return, as Joy News launches road safety campaign with the hashtag Arrive Alive, we hear the chilling story of Deputy Communications Minister George Anda, who survived a bloody accident that nearly claimed his life.
I remember I was in the back of an abubuya. My head was on the lap of my bodyguard, and I asked him what was going on. I was feeling some very severe pain in my leg, and he said we were involved in an accident.
UMB was established in 1972 as the premier bank for the corporate and private sector in Ghana. From our very beginning, as the only Ghanaian bank serving all categories of businesses, we set a standard for excellence and innovation. Over the past 45 years, we've built a financially healthy and strong bank, demonstrated our commitment to our customers and to growing businesses, and exhibited originality and innovation at every turn. At UMB, our focus is built around people, service, products, and technology. These are the key to our present success and our future triumphs. At UMB, we're poised to make a difference not only with our customers, but also in the banking industry. We invite you to share in our future. Our future starts now with you.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Let's do sports now. Hansman Sando.
And Black Stars coach CK Akono says only hard work will get Ghana to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. The Black Stars have been drawn against South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Ethiopia in the second qualifying round of the 2022 FIFA World Cup.
I know everybody is a desire for every team to qualify. We'll put in the hard work to qualify. You know, Ghana is a great football nation, and it is our dream to get to the World Cup. Saying this, we know all the teams, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and others, will do their bit to get there, but we'll put in hard work, and we know that hard work pays. The last one we went was Brazil. We didn't qualify for the day, so we are hoping and believing that this is the time for us to do it. But then it's important that we put in hard work. It is a desire, like I said, desire for all these teams to qualify. But we will put a lot of work on the desire to work hard and to achieve that.
Black Stars coach CK Akono emphasizing hard work as the only way the Black Stars can make it to Qatar.
Thank you, Hans. Let's head to your home region because there was drama at the Sekondi High Court today when father of Priscilla Blessing Bintum, one of the 4 missing Takoradi girls, attacked one of the suspects, Samuel Udotek Wills, in court after the state attorney Adelaide Kobri Wood asked for another date of adjournment for them to receive document from the investigator handling the case. Correspondent Ina Talia joins us on the line with more on this. Ina, give us more details.
Yes, so the case was adjourned last time. That was on 11th December. So this time they had said there was new development. So the family saw that they were coming to hear a final judgment or something very proactive. But within 5 minutes, the state attorney Adelaide Kobri told the judge handling the case, sitting on the case, that they were expecting a certain document from the investigator, and they are told that they would receive it in the course of the week. So she asked for a date of adjournment, which the judge, Justice Hannah Taylor, granted them to come back on the 5th of February. So after the judge had said, okay, 5th of February, they should come back, some of the Wills and then John were leaving the box to go back to their seat. That was when father of Priscilla Blessing Bintum, Mr. Francis Bintum, attacked him. The police and then the prison officers over there had to come in, and it was a drama. Emefa, everyone there supported the family for what they were doing.
You have Western Regional Correspondent Natalia Kwanza. We definitely have more on this in our subsequent bulletins. Now, it was an accident that left him with severe leg injury. So for him, it's only a miracle that he survived and is able to walk again. Deputy Communications Minister George Anda spent 14 days at the 37 Military Hospital after his car was involved in a head-on collision with a tipper truck in the Owutu Senya West constituency of the Central Region. Other occupants of the vehicle suffered various injuries as Joy News launches its road safety campaign with the hashtag Arrive Alive. Mr. Anda shared a story on the Super Morning Show.
The tipper truck driver came back. I think he was sort of swerving, trying to. He probably must have lost control. And for me, that's the last thing that I remember of that accident. The next, I remember I was in the back of an Abubuya. My head was on the lap of my bodyguard, and I asked him what was going on. I was feeling some very severe pain in my leg, and he said we were involved in an accident and we were going to the hospital. So apparently God must have sent an Abubuya because there was no one on the road. The Abubuya driver came around. He decided to put us in the back of his bucket to St. Gregory's Hospital. And I was in and out of consciousness at that time. So we ended up at St. Gregory Hospital and we were giving first aid. Then we made contact with family. We made contact with people from Jubilee.
Mr. George Anda also pledged his support for the Joy News Arrive Alive road safety campaign launched in the wake of the deadly crash in the Central Region, which claimed 34 lives.
You have all my support. I mean, I'm fully on board this campaign. Any role that you want me to play, I will play. I think that there are a number of things. First is the education of drivers. We need to make sure that all drivers are educated. I mean, it's not just about you who's driving being careful, but it's also about the other driver.
Please join the campaign with the hashtag Arrive Alive. And you heard that the Deputy Communications Minister, George Anda. Now, the Health Ministry says it has stepped up screening of passengers from China following the outbreak of the coronavirus disease in that country. More than 400 cases have so far been recorded, with 9 deaths in Wuhan, China, since the outbreak in December last year. Head of our health desk, Fred Smith, is here with some information on this. What's this disease, Fred?
Well, the coronavirus disease is a large group of viruses that are common among animals, and in rare cases they are what scientists call zoonotic, meaning they can be transmitted from animals to humans. The current outbreak was discovered in December last year in Wuhan, central China, and reports say this infection has spread from Wuhan to other major cities abroad, and today the WHO is expected to consider declaring an international public health emergency over the coronavirus, as it did in the case of the swine flu and Ebola, Emefa. And you need to know what the symptoms are, so in case you meet someone with it, you'll be able to tell. Yes, the viruses can make people sick, usually with a mild to moderate upper respiratory tract illness, similar to a common cold. Now, the coronavirus symptoms include a runny nose, cough, sore throat, possibly a headache, and maybe a fever which can last for a couple of days. Emefa.
And the measures?
The measures, they've sent alerts to all regions in Ghana on the outbreak. In addition to guidance information on the disease, there's been enhanced surveillance at all entry points to Ghana, especially at the Kotoka International Airport, and extra screening for persons traveling from China.
And the Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists of Ghana say there is no scientific evidence to support the assertion that any form of intrauterine, that's the IUD device, causes cervical cancer, as speculated in sections of the media. What's trending on social media, Maps?
People are talking about #ArriveAlive and